Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Steve. So LeBron James recently came out and said he went to Miami because of the Boston Celtics, and this is his quote. I understood at that point in time that in order for me to compete for a championship and to get to that next level, I had to figure it out and get with some guys that could be on the same level as Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Kevin Garnett, and the rest of those guys. I just didn't feel like it could happen if I stayed here. I was out calling guys in the summertime, trying to get guys to come here, and guys just continued to decline offers from us. And then at that time, we didn't even have money to go get anybody. I knew personally that D Wade was a free agent. I knew Bosh was a free agent. I knew Amari was a free agent. I knew Carlos Boozer was a free agent. So I knew I had to try and get some guys to try and get Boston, man. That was my whole mindset. Now, this is something that we all knew pretty much, but he finally admitted it. And, you know, if you really think about it, if LeBron never went to Miami, LeBron probably would not have an NBA championship right now. He could, but most likely he wouldn't. The reason is because, think about it this way: the amount of great teams that formed during that era. For example, the Los Angeles Lakers, even if LeBron did make it past Boston and Orlando and played Los Angeles with, Kobe, Andrew Bynum, Pau Gasol, Derek Fisher, Ron Artest, you know what I mean? With all those guys, even if he did make it past them and he faced the Los Angeles Lakers, they were just a better team than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they proved it countless times in the regular season, in the 08-09 NBA season. I believe, from my memory, now this is all based off memory. This is when I used to watch every single Cavaliers game back when I was like 12 years old. So if I remember right, Cleveland was undefeated in Quicken Loans Arena. And Los Angeles came over. It was one of the biggest matchups ever. They had the puppet commercials and yada, yada, yada. And the thing about it is Kobe actually won that game and actually defeated LeBron in his kingdom, in his arena, not stadium. But you know what I mean? So if he would have faced Los Angeles, he most likely would have lost just because that team is really good. And LeBron, really, he had some good pieces around him, and Mo Williams and Anderson Varejao and Big Z. But then again, Big Z was, by the time the Cavaliers were winning 66 games, were winning 61 games, Big Z was pretty much out of his prime. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that, he really stood no chance. And then, that's why he lost to Orlando. Like, they had no big men to really stop Dwight Howard. They had no one to match up with Hedo Turkoglu, with Rashard Lewis, with Jameer Nelson. The Cavaliers, they didn't have any role players, really. They just had, Anderson Varejao and Mo Williams were pretty good. But they didn't have that great of bench like all these other teams did. So even if he did, he probably wouldn't have won. And then you fast forward to, let's say, 2010, after the free agency. Let's say everyone stays where they are. Boston would probably win more NBA championships. You know what I mean? Or Dallas, you know what I mean? Or Oklahoma City would have won, and Kevin Durant would have a championship before LeBron, and all of this crap, and then people would be saying, oh, well, KD's better than LeBron. He has a ring and LeBron doesn't, So all of this crap would have happened if LeBron didn't go to Miami. And I mean, think about what that just caused, because if LeBron, first of all, I'd like to say, if LeBron didn't go to Miami, I don't think Kevin Durant would have ever went to Golden State. And let me see. Probably Tim Duncan would probably have another NBA championship as well. So things like that. He actually would, obviously. So things like that happen. You know what I mean? So if LeBron didn't go to Miami, the entire NBA would be different. Kevin Durant could have maybe 1 or 2 championships. Tim Duncan could have 6 titles. You know what I mean? Kobe could have won another one. You never know. You know what I mean? Like, who else was dominating? Derrick Rose could have won one in Chicago. You know what I mean? So when it comes to things like that, the whole NBA would be different. And then if you look at what him going to Miami caused, going to Miami, now that's the reason why Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, and Kobe teamed up. That's the reason why, Dirk tried to get Chandler Parsons, and that's the reason why, the Spurs and Tim Duncan were taking pay cuts, and that's the reason why Oklahoma City, they were trying to get other good pieces around, because LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, even though Wade and Bosh did not play well for the majority of their time together, they were still so freaking ahead of everybody else that everybody else had to stack up 4 or 5 high instead of Miami, which is 3 high and pretty much not that many great role players, to be honest. And they were great role players when they were younger, but I mean, Shane Battier was already older, Rashard Lewis was old, Mike Miller was old, he had foot problems. Let me see, Joel Anthony was old. He was actually a solid role player, Joel Anthony. A lot of people don't think so, but I think so. Birdman was old. You know, a lot of these. So it's really just LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. You know, Mario Chalmers stepped up some big games in the finals, right? But, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So if you look at the ripple effect, you know, it's obvious, like, of course, because if LeBron never went to Miami, Boston would probably have, let me see, they won in 08, they lost 09, they didn't go in 2010. I mean, excuse me. They won in 08, they lost in 09, they lost in 2010, and they probably would have won in 2011 because Dallas won, and they would have beat up on Dallas. I mean, yeah, Dirk did his thing, but Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, you know what I'm saying? And this was like when they were actually towards the latter stages of their prime. And then 2012, they probably would have beat Oklahoma City as well. That's just how good Boston was, man. Like, people don't realize that Boston is one of the greatest teams in NBA history. Now, I understand, and I'll say this. We're lucky that this team did not form while they were in their prime, because if they did, oh my freaking goodness, the NBA would be screwed. If the Boston Celtics formed while Paul Pierce, Rondo, and Ray Allen were all in their prime, the NBA would be screwed. They probably would have won 3-4 in a row. Easily. You know what I'm saying? That's how good KG was. That's how good Paul Pierce was. That's how good Ray Allen was. I'm pretty sure Paul Pierce the season prior was averaging like 28. Ray Allen the season prior joining was averaging 27. KG the season prior was averaging 24 and 10. No, 22 and 10, something like that. You know what I mean? And then you have Rondo. You know, so that team right there really started the super teams in terms of, okay, free agents, come here, trade, do this, you know. Yeah, we had them here and there in the 90s with the Bulls and, you know, the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley going over there and things like that. You know what I mean? But, I mean, Charles Barkley going to Houston, with Hakeem. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure he went with Hakeem. You know what I mean? But, you know, Boston was what really got it back up and going, because for a while the super team was dead. And I really wish the super teams were dead, because I enjoyed the NBA. I enjoyed watching basketball more back then than I do now. The reason is because we don't see that many great performances anymore. We just don't. I remember in 2008, what was it? The 2008-2009 Dream Week in Madison Square Garden. Lakers, Cavaliers, Celtics, right? All in the same week. Kobe comes, and I'm pretty sure Kobe drops like 60-something. LeBron comes, drops 55. Well, he drops a triple-double, but then they take away the rebound and say Ben Wallace got it or whatever. So he drops like 55, 10, and 9, or something crazy like that. And then the Boston Celtics come, and they beat up on the Knicks, you know? So I miss that. I miss seeing these huge performances. I miss seeing LeBron go hard against Melo in the regular season. I miss seeing LeBron battle KD in the regular season. I miss Kobe versus LeBron. I miss D-Wade versus LeBron. Obviously, it's a new era, but I'm just giving these examples because, you know, that's what I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I miss, man. I'm tired of seeing these super teams teaming up. It needs to stop. It makes it not fun to watch. I enjoy better seeing one superstar on the team with a whole bunch of role players. That means the superstar can put up big numbers like they used to. You guys remember, it would be like every other night LeBron would drop 40. Or Melo would drop 40 in Denver. Or D-Wade would drop 40. Or Kobe would drop 40. It would literally be every other night. Tracy McGrady. Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Michael Redd. I miss those days, man. They need to stop. I understand people want to win championships, and I understand there's going to be unfair advantages at times in terms of, if you look at the Golden State Warriors, for example. Like, look at Golden State, man. They drafted Clay, they drafted Curry, and they drafted Draymond. All-star players, right? One superstar, 2 all-stars. We understand that. It'll happen. So I understand that sometimes you do need to team up. But stop it. This if people get lucky and they draft someone and they draft another person and then they draft another person and they all become star players, that's just luck. How many times does that happen? When was the last time a team drafted 3 all-star players? When was the last? I can't even name a team with 3 all-star players right now. Well, I mean, I can. Kyrie, K-Love, LeBron, whatever. Melo, D-Rose, and Noah. I was gonna say Harden, and no, Harden's not with. I think that's pretty much it. Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, but no one else. You know what I mean? So in terms of drafting it, like, come on, man. I don't know. I'm just a salty NBA fan. I don't know, man. I just wish we could see some epic battles like we used to. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Peace. I'm out. Peace.